Hello, everyone. We're so excited to have you here today. I know it is an extremely busy time being Q4 and the holidays are just ahead. So we're extra appreciative of you spending the next 45 minutes with us. And it's also so fun to look at all of the amazing brands that are joining us here today from all over the country in the US, all over the world, and just always so fun to be able to bring everyone together to do a little learning. So let's jump in. And give you a little bit more context into what to expect from today's session. So to kick off, I'm Sarah. I'm the customer marketing lead here for our brand community, really helping to make sure that you all feel like you can connect your growth goals with tools that we have at your disposal within Faire. And I'm joined here today by some lovely guests. So I've got Gabe, who is from the brand growth team, who's a true expert in all of the things that you need to know to be a successful brand on Faire. And we also have Lauren Blake, who is our product lead, specifically focused on our relationship growth tools. So things that really drive relationship depth and make sure that you're having long lasting relationships with your retailers on Faire. And then, of course, we have a special set of guests from the BonBon team. So we have both Max Herlander and Tom Jack Simpson, who are both the sales director and the account manager for our wholesale accounts through BonBon, a Swedish candy shop. So they'll have lots of great insights to share, not only from their strategy, but you'll get to see plenty of real examples that you can get inspired from. So really excited to be able to have them here today. So in terms of how our webinars work, a couple of things to note. One, we'll absolutely be recording this session, so do not fret about taking screenshots or writing a ton of notes. You can go back and rewatch this at any time. We'll post it on YouTube likely tomorrow, and we'll also send an email for all of you with the resources that we've mentioned today, as well as the recording, whether you're attending or you've registered simply. So if you miss anything, do not worry, we've got you covered. And then in terms of questions, the chat will get disabled once we kind of get into the content, with the purpose of being able to capture all of your great questions through the Q&A feature at the bottom of the Zoom screen. Simply submit any questions you have. We've already looked at all of your questions you submitted to try and make sure that we can cover as much as possible. We will do our very best to answer them, but know that we are only a few of us and there are many, many of you, so we will do our very best. And then before really diving into all the content today around CRM and email marketing, I want to give a quick refresh on the foundations and things that you can access at any point. That includes our Faire blog, which we'll link out and share with you. We also have our YouTube channel with how-tos and other webinars. For social, we have our Faire Wholesale account, which I definitely recommend subscribing to our brand broadcast. And then in terms of other community drivers, we have our Faire community forum on Facebook. We'll share that link out as well. And then lastly, every month we deliver to our marketing subscribe brands the Goods newsletter, which gives you keywords, trends, insights, and different strategies that you can deploy to drive even more growth on Faire. So without further ado, what we'll cover today, we'll talk about your CRM foundations, the nuts and bolts of what CRM is, email marketing, etc. We'll give you a quick tour of the tools within your toolkit here at Faire, and then we'll dive into BonBon content galore with brand building strategies and all sorts of examples. And we'll end with a couple FAQs that you all have asked us and want to make sure that we capture before the end of the session. All right, so let's jump in now that we've set the table and get a little bit more into CRM foundations. So why have you all chosen Faire? It's probably a combination of these three things. One, it's the unparalleled reach, so access to over 700,000 retailers that globally that you can go ahead and maybe drive business with. The second is all-in-one wholesale management, so having all of your wholesale management tools in one place. And then lastly, being able to offer retailer benefits that convert, that not only retailers love, but really drive sales for you. And ultimately today, we'll be really focused on this all-in-one wholesale management piece, which is your CRM toolkit. So what is CRM? I know this is a question that popped up quite a bit. So ultimately, the actual definition is customer relationship management. And you can think of this as the technology and strategy used by businesses to manage interactions and relationships with your existing and potential customers. So whether that be leads, whether that be active customers, maybe it's customers that churned long ago and you want to reinvigorate. And a lot of this is actually done through email marketing. So something to note is that email marketing has a truly significant ROI. So your return on investment is extremely strong when using email marketing as a strategy to either drive sales with your customers and also just engage customers full stop. And with recent data, the average return of this is essentially 36 to 1. You can think of this as for every dollar of time or every dollar of tool spend that you put in, you'll get $36 back on average when it comes to email marketing. So this is a really impactful way for you to actually deploy your strategy. And ultimately, not only is it a top preferred channel, and as you can see here in the chart on the left, email is that top one on the far left. It is extremely valuable across all of the channels that folks are actually communicating with their customers, but it also is extremely multi-generational. So on this other chart here on the bottom right, you can see that the left column is email, and then it's social ads, and then SMS. And as you can see, across all the generations from Gen Z and upward, this is something that's really effective and can be really helpful when it comes to your wholesale retailers, which generally are quite multi-generational across your customer base. And the long and short of it is that email still absolutely works, but there are some things to consider in today's modern age of 2025 email strategy. And that is the customer experience has shifted. So whether it be Gmail or other systems that people use for email, inboxes have gotten smarter through AI-driven inbox filtering and filtering for spams. And also there's competing channels. So we're in a world where there's TikTok and YouTube and all these other things that are flying at our customers. So we want to be really intentional with our strategy there, but we also want to be really present. And something to note is that 68% of Faire's most engaged retailers have made a purchase from an email. So I hope that drives home just how impactful it can be across our retailer base here at Faire. And ultimately, email is all about sending the right message to the right person at the right time in the right channel. And the good news is that you can do all of those things with the power of the CRM here on Faire. So when thinking about it, how can you put the power of this amazing strategy to work? And the good news is that you can do it really easily with Faire. So I want to share a little bit more on what is in your CRM toolkit here within your Faire brand portal. So the first is your customer database. You can think of this as your treasure trove of all of your customers that have either purchased with you on Faire or potentially not on Faire that you want to be able to access from a wholesale perspective. The second two are email forward, so email campaigns and being able to write emails to your customers, and also set up automations for things like abandoned cart or Faire Direct unused credits if they have ability to go ahead and get more for your brand. And then the last three, we have segmentation. So thinking about ways to organize and orchestrate your customer base through targeting specific folks and audiences within your customers. And then Messenger, which is a really impactful way to have one-on-one type personal conversations. We have lots of templates incorporated there, and it's a really effective way to move the needle with more personalized touch. And then lastly, we have insights and analytics. This covers not only your product analytics, but also insights into your actual impact of your emails. So understanding what was the open rate, what was the impact to my sales, and really understanding who even opened and engaged with that. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, and we'll have plenty more to talk about in the next few slides and next sections. And just as a quick note on why these tools are really effective for you and extra important. One, they are absolutely free to use. You can start using them right now if you wanted to. So they're part of your Faire portal. They include all of the easy customer management tools, ready to use email templates, customization features to really make everything feel like it's your own. Like I said, email analytics. And something to note, on average, brands who use our CRM tools get 6x more sales on Faire than those who are not. So again, I leave you with that with a quick poll to understand how you are using CRM tools today on Faire. All right, it looks like we've definitely got some users on the email campaigns, which is great. And now I think I have a exclusive access pass here with seeing the results. And I'll share a quick read here. So as you can see, we've got lots of folks using email campaigns, the customer database. We have some opportunities with segmentation, it looks like. So you're in the right place, and we'll dive into more of that coming soon with Gabe's section here.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Hi, everyone. I'm Gabe, a brand success manager here at Faire, and I'll be taking you on a tour of some of the tools you have available on Faire to help you drive growth. So today we'll cover two really powerful tools you have available, your customer database and email campaigns. I'll be giving you a high-level overview of each, and then I'll pass it over to Lauren, who will do a deeper dive into how to put these tools into action. Let's start with your customer database. This is your built-in customer relationship management database within Faire. Here you can manage all of your active retailers, prospective buyers, and even win-back accounts. For instance, retailers who haven't purchased from you in a while. You can find this page directly in your brand portal if you click on the Customers tab on the left-hand navigation. When it comes to customer best practices, we recommend regularly updating this list anywhere from 1 to 3 times per quarter and importing quality contacts from any trade shows you've recently attended, any inbound requests you get from retailers, or even social media channels, for instance, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, really wherever you're getting the retailers' inbound requests from you. You can use custom tags feature to label contacts and create custom segments, which we'll get into in a bit as well. Absolutely include any pre-existing, churned, or prospective customers in this list as well. And be sure to keep this contact list clean, as this will help stronger delivery rates. So be sure to check for any bad emails, typos, bounces, spam flags, and all those as well. Avoid buying any and uploading large lists, as this may be more likely to hurt deliverability and actually raise spam flags. Awesome. You can create custom segments as well and save these in your customer database. Customer segments are groupings of retailers that have specific similar traits. For instance, their behavior, their store type, their location, or even past purchase history. The cool thing about this is you can use these targets within your messaging and email marketing. One of my favorite filters is the abandoned or amount in cart customers. This is where you can see retailers that have items in their cart, and you can even filter based on how much they have in their cart available. Awesome. You'll also see some ready-to-use segments available in your portal already. These include, for instance, your hot leads, aka your most engaged or most likely to convert customers. For instance, what we spoke on earlier, your abandoned cart customers. These are retailers that added items in their cart but haven't checked out yet. These can be both new and returning buyers. Right for reorders, these are retailers that are great to check in on. For instance, you'll see your last ordered 60 plus days customers, as well as customers who have ordered with you on Faire before. Additionally, you'll see promotions to offer your customers on us. These are really awesome to use, especially heading into the holidays. You'll see your unused credits. These are any retailers that have an active unused credit with you. As a reminder, this is the Faire Direct sign-up offer, which is 50% off their first order with you, up to $150, and a year free shipping with you, covered by Faire. You'll also see the eligible to claim Faire Direct offer. These are all your customers that qualify for that referral incentive. These are all live in your customers portal today, so be sure to take a look now. Awesome. I'll now hand it over to Lauren to jump in and show you around.
Thanks, Gabe. Hi, I'm Lauren, product lead at Faire. I'll be walking you through how to actually use these segments and get the most power from your CRM tools at Faire. So let's jump into our demo. So you'll see I have the brand portal open here on the Customers tab. And this is where you can get all of your insights on your customers. This includes all the retailers who are ordering on Faire from you, as well as any that you've uploaded, either individually added, or we have bulk upload capabilities as well. This is where you can download a list from any of your other tools like Shopify or an email marketing tool and upload them into Faire. For all the retailers that you then have in Faire, there's deep data we have available on them. Information on who they are as a retailer, information on how they've interacted with you. All of that data is available in our table view, and you can customize what columns are shown here using that settings on the right. I've added custom tags and last contacted. And you can also then click into retailer profiles and see even deeper information. If there's some information that Faire doesn't know about the retailer yet, you can add tags to capture that. So for example, in this example, I'm adding a VIP customer tag. These insights get really powerful when we use them to create segments so that I can take those targeted actions on retailers and use that to really grow those relationships and get more reorders. And so we can group these retailers together in segments. Gabe walked you through a lot of the options we have for that. They are already in your CRM in this toggle on the left, but there are more that you can create using our filters. So saving filters creates more segments. Gabe also walked you through a lot of our filter options. I'll focus on two that are kind of deeper cuts that have become really powerful. So again, thinking ahead to the holidays, I might want to focus on retailers that have ordered holiday products from me in the past. And so I can focus on our product purchase filter and narrow in on people who have ordered a holiday product like a Cheers wine bag. Another option here is to focus on retailers who will get benefits restocking ahead of the holidays. And so I can go to our free shipping filter and click on those retailers that will have either insider free shipping through our insider program or have free shipping through the Faire Direct referral offer. Once I set up this filter, I can apply it and see the list of customers that meet that criteria. And this is a totally dynamic list. So as more retailers gain access to free shipping, they'll be added, or if some lose their access, for example, the 1 year free shipping with Faire Direct ends, they'll be removed from the list. And I can just save it as a segment up at the top. Once I have these insights in these powerful segments, I can start taking action on them. And segments generally 2x perform more broad actions people take on their customers. And so some examples here is for my really high value customers, I might want to reach out to them one-on-one, check on how their products are selling, offer merchandising tips. And then I can also send campaigns. We'll go into this in more detail in the next demo segment. But even though this is bulk outreach, when segmented, it feels really powerful and we can go really deep into a personalized pitch. I'll hand it back to Gabe to walk you through the basics on email campaigns.
Amazing. Thank you, Lauren. Now let's talk a bit more about email strategies and content. Before we jump into email strategies, let's do another quick poll. How often do you all send emails to your wholesale customers today? Be sure to drop your response in the chat. Awesome, awesome. Super engaged. We'll give it another minute here. Amazing. Awesome. We got the results here as well. Sweet. All right, go on into the next slide. As we head into email marketing, I wanted to highlight another great resource you have available within the email campaigns, your email analytics. So upon sending email campaigns, you'll see the following email analytics to help you track your performance. You'll see your email click rate. These are the percentage of clicks within the email itself. You'll see your open rate. These are the percentage of email opens. Then you'll also even see the orders that came from the email opens as well as the orders that came from the email clicks. Here are some high-level benchmarks when it comes to both e-commerce email marketing and trends we've seen on Faire. Now, keep in mind, these do vary by brand and audience, but they can be a useful baseline for understanding engagement, specifically when keeping a clean contact database and being strategic with your segments and email sends. For engagement targets, we've seen these range in open rates from 37 to 54% on the higher end. For click rates, we've seen this range anywhere between 1.3% and 4.7%. For most engaged segments, we found these to be around abandoned carts, those Faire Direct invites, again, with the Faire Direct referral benefits, any promotions you're offering, new products, or back in stock, really anything exciting to bring the retailers back to your page. And to Lauren's point, we found that reorder customers have twice the click-through rates of prospects. So be sure to keep these customers warm. All right. Now let's build an email together. I'll pass it back over to Lauren to bring this to life.
Great. So we'll jump in and build an email campaign. So let's kick off our next demo. So I'm in the campaigns tab in the brand portal. And let's create a campaign here, again, focused on encouraging holiday restocks. First step for that is creating a campaign name so that I can remember which campaign it is and then check back on the stats and keep learning from my performance. Next step is setting up the segment. So I'll focus on that free shipping segment I created earlier. And then I actually fill out the campaign itself. I always want to think from the retailer perspective of what information can I give for them that's helpful and compelling. So I'm setting up a subject line that's personalized for them. We'll fill in that shop name at the top. And then we'll set up the actual template themselves. Faire has designed these templates to make it step by step easy for you to create the campaign and give you guidance on the information to contain. You can also drop in additional custom components to further personalize a segment to what you'd like to send. And most recently, we've added some colors and fonts so the campaign can match your brand. And so when a retailer opens it, it's immediate, it's you. I've skipped ahead about 5 minutes and actually customized this campaign for my mock brand Dip and Drizzle. You can see I added that green color there, customized the buttons, added some images, so it's immediately relevant for the retailer when they open it. I'm going to switch to the mobile view with that tab on the top. Most of our emails are viewed in mobile, and I want to make sure all of that information is readily available once the retailer opens it. I'm going to add a banner on the top to promote our free shipping benefit, again, personalized for the retailer with the merge tag. I've included 4 products in this email. We recommend between 2 and 6. And the last piece here is you can drag and drop a promo component into an email. Not necessary in this case, especially because we have the free shipping, but it's an easy way to sweeten the deal. And once you drop in the promo, all the content and the promo code are all set up in the email. The final thing I'll mention here is our Faire Direct referral benefit can be easily pitched in this FD benefit component at the bottom. Once I'm feeling good about the content of this email, both in the desktop and mobile views, I can schedule it or set it to send, and then check back on the stats later on. I'll hand it over to Sarah to give some deeper tips on building out your email campaigns.
Thanks, Lauren. Exactly. Thank you so much for doing those tours. Super helpful. And honestly, when I saw those first myself, I learned a lot. So I hope that was helpful. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about ways to up level this strategy and take in a lot of those questions that you've all sent in and give a little bit more advice in terms of how you might shape your strategy. So the first is striking a balance. What's very important is not only cadence, but also the content balance. So while maybe you don't have always a new product to sell or a new collection that you want to advertise, there are other things you can do to really build engagement with your community. So whether that be doing a balance between sales forward and brand building style content. So that could look like why we partner with Faire, retailer reviews and highlighting some feedback you received. Or maybe you add recipes if you're a food brand, how to use our product, do the storytelling behind a product. And then in addition to your sales forward side, which would be promotion forward, maybe it's about collections, new product launches, key sales periods around Black Friday, Christmas time, fair markets. And with all of that said, what's also extremely important is the cadence in which you are sending these. So oversending and undersending do exist, and we do not recommend daily as the answer for this specific audience of retailers. What we do recommend is aiming for sending something to your community base 1 time a week. So collectively over the course of the month, you've hit every single one of your retailers with something from you. And I can promise you, while I know that it can feel like you're bothering folks, they want to hear from you and they want to engage. And that's the way you can stay top of mind and really kick into this long-term strategy of email marketing. The other thing to note is monitoring your spam reported rates. So when you are either sending too often or sending without any personalization or segmentation, that can affect your deliverability. So that's why we really do advise digging into the segments and getting creative with how it can really be impactful for your business. All right, and then in terms of the next strategy that we want to talk about is personalizing it. So Lauren did a great job of showing you some ways to segment and also use merge tags to make things dynamic and make it feel like you're talking to that particular retailer or that particular person or contact. And other ways to bring that to life which again can increase open rates by 26%, which is extremely meaningful when we're talking about open rates, is thinking about what other things can you segment by within your email sends that can make it even feel naturally personable. So that could be the store type. So whether you're speaking to all your grocery stores or your convenience stores or your apparel shops all at once with specific language, or store location. So maybe you have folks who are in New York, and maybe a month ago you send them an email that's your New York Marathon prep kit of different foods or different combination of products that could be really impactful for them in marketing it around the New York Marathon in November. And lastly, around products ordered, so making it really about them and making it feel like you knew everything about them in terms of what they might want next. And the last core one that I really want to talk about is Faire Direct and taking advantage of these benefits that we offer intrinsically within Faire, which includes being able to offer the ease and value and financial benefits to your retailers, including net 60 terms, free shipping on their first order, and the ease of ordering. In combination, for you, you're being able to get 0% commission on those specific relationships that you're driving orders through these tools. So what does that look like when it comes to email? It's one, using those filters of the ones that Gabe and Lauren talked about around Faire Direct and those being available. The other is sending the Faire Direct invitation template that's built right into your portal today. And you can actually use that to send out an invite just like this so that people know that you're available on Faire and they can go ahead and take advantage of those benefits. And then lastly, as Lauren showed you, using that Faire benefits block in your email so that people are really feeling informed about why it is beneficial for them to place these orders on Faire. And for all of you who I think are really seeking to bring your brand to life and feel really make every email feel like it's from you and not maybe via Faire, there's so much you can do here, whether it be through creative combinations of segments, but also from a design and content perspective. Some like creative favorites of mine that have been really successful with brands are first that trade show and event follow-up. So using that custom tags feature. So maybe you went to fancy food and you tagged all of them with that label, and then you're actually looking at if they're on Faire. Let's send them a promo code just to like help really lock in that deal and make sure that we can move that forward. The other is for driving reviews. This is something that folks ask about all the time. So one handy little trick is being able to look at order history. Maybe you want to have your loyal customers who've had 2 or more orders, and then you can look at review status and say no review, and then give them a nice nudge to say, it would mean so much to me if you could write a review, and I'd love to hear your feedback around your products. And that's a really great way to help add more reviews to your deck and also build some trust with your brand. And then lastly, when it comes to making it yours, go have fun in terms of what's available to you in the product between colors and texts and all of those certain styles. I know a lot of brands are also making their own creative in Canva and then pulling that into their own emails. And then also when it comes to language, I promise you, there are some really great AI tools that you can brainstorm with, poke holes with, and create some really fun and on-brand campaigns when it comes to subject lines and also copy that can really resonate with your audience. So those are some like behind the scenes tricks that I hope will be helpful as you move forward. And now let's get to the fun stuff, which is talking to BonBon's team and getting a little bit more insight from them around what's been successful and how they've been managing their brand marketing strategy. So I will go ahead and give a quick intro, and huge welcome to Max and Tom Jack, who are here joining us today from New York City. A few stats about BonBon, just from a Faire lens, that I think are extremely exciting and very inspiring, to be honest. They joined in 2021 and actually started using Faire Direct, so sharing that link and using that in emails in 2024 to really drive even more traffic to their shop page. And they also only recently started investing in our CRM tools, so sending emails about a year ago. And as you can see here, these are real abstractions of their results. So from their 2021 origin to now, they have nearly 5x their average sales volume in the last 2 years, which is extremely impressive. And I hope an inspiring tale for all of you looking at this. And that has equated to about 1,400 retailers today that they've actually been able to build new relationships with on Faire. And without further ado, I would love to introduce Max and Tom Jack. I would love for both of you to do a quick intro about what you're doing at BonBon. And then Max, if you want to give a little bit more detail around the BonBon story.
Sure. Tom, Jack, maybe you intro yourself and then I'll do intro and speak on BonBon.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. My name's Tom Jack. I started in the BonBon stores around 2022. 3 years later, I'm managing the wholesale B2B business as the account manager. It's very fun, and we're based in Long Island City, New York. And I see everyone in the chat in the Philippines and London. So hello, everyone, and we're excited to share our story with you guys on Faire and how Faire's helped us grow as a wholesale business. So, Max, let's hear it.
Fantastic. Yeah, hi everyone. Sarah and everyone at the Faire side, thank you for putting this together. We're really honored to be here. All of you that are watching, thank you for doing so. My name is Max Herlander, and I'm the sales director for the wholesale department at BonBon. I've been here for about 2 years, and quickly a background on BonBon at large. It started back in 2017 here in New York City. We have Swedish pick and mix candy stores here in New York City. We have 5 in New York City, and we have 1 out in Sag Harbor. And then I drive the B2B and the wholesale department. And like Sarah mentioned, we've been on Faire for quite a long time. And when I started, Faire was one of the biggest sales channels that we had. It was really Faire and a couple of hotels here in New York City. And I remember we were just kind of standing around waiting for an order to come in. And then, yeah, throughout the years, the partnership with Faire has gotten deeper. And yeah, BonBon as a brand has also continued to grow. Do you want me to dive deeper than that, Sarah? Or yeah, you let me know how much time we
That's
have.
perfect as a warm up, and then we can dive into some of the content and some of the great emails you guys have been sending. So really excited to talk to you all, and you've shared a lot of great strategies, and I've been having a lot of fun looking at all of your emails over the past few weeks. And so I want to talk a little bit about kind of like your core principles that you are operating around when it comes to wholesale strategy and thinking about email marketing. And Tom Jack, I'd love to kind of start with you and thinking about how do you I would say distinguish between how you
Yeah,
approach your D2C customer and your wholesale customer.
no, for sure. And I think for us, we looked inwards before we looked outwards. So, firstly, we needed to understand what our brand was, and our brand identity came from the stores. So, a playful, nostalgic brand of upper level candies. So then we looked, and we didn't send more emails. We started off and we had smarter and more personalized emails, like Lauren was mentioning at the start. It's all about personalization. So you got to know your customer, but also know your brand. So once you know that, our D2C customer, the stores, was 18 to 40 women. And now our B2B is more store owners. So they're focusing on margin, they're focusing on sales. So how we can shift the language to approach it less playful and conversational to more informational, structural, and product driven. So that being said, I can use an example. Halloween, our licorice campaign, spooky season. And then in summer, we leaned into pop culture. So then, you know what we did this summer, playing into the 2000 nostalgia. That sense of fun and consistency keeps engagement high. And our goal for B2B is functional and the experience to be emotional. So it's aligned our D2C and our B2C, but we tweak the phrasing. And I think everyone on the call needs to look at that tweak and don't go too much because you really need to find your brand and your identity. But also, like, we're selling to other businesses. So we need to find that approach. And I think it's the tone continuity, not replication. So it's finding that tone, but don't replicate it.
That's a really good takeaway. I love the insight of making it informational and like about those like bottom line thought processes that retailers are thinking about. And also
Yeah.
like more broadly with like multi-generational folks who are actually buying your products. And Max, anything to add around like the brand voice and how you guys have been brand building in that way?
Yeah, I mean, just to like what Tondrik was saying, coming out of the stores, even when we go to the fairs, we are trying to sort of honor that expression. So we're building our expo booth in that manner. And a lot of people we speak to there find it fascinating that we have stores, because the sort of pick and mix candy has its own component in our business. But yeah, just really leaning into the core values that we live by on the fun, nostalgic. One of our taglines is "Growing up is a trap," and we're trying to really honor that even as we become a bigger, more serious company. And yeah, always remember that piece of it throughout. And that's also how you perform the best at work, is if you have fun. So we are always trying to honor that.
I love that. And you can see that actually in the next example that I'm going to share, which is a great example of you all leaning into just your product inventory and kind of watching what's hot, what you need to move, and also what might be out of stock. And in this first example, I think you did exactly what you talked about there, Max, with doing some storytelling that kind of like makes it playful and like leveraging Pippi here. Tom, Jack, or Max, would you like to talk a little bit more about kind of your approach there?
I think
Sure. You can start, Tom.
I think for us, analytics and data is our best friend. And I do implore that on everyone. And Faire's CRM tools really help us with this. So we can see our best sellers, like on the left, our summer bestseller, 5% CVR. We try our suite is our 5 to 7% CVR. That's our sweet spot. We love that. That's our goals. And on the right, you can see there's a 1.5 CVR. So what's the difference there, would you say? And I think that comes from our storytelling. So our approach is trial and error. So we can see on the left, we use a blank and storyteller. And then on the right, there's not much, we say call to action. The shop now hasn't really helped us there. So going forward, we would have a higher CTA, and there's not enough information for storekeepers. So we need to know our audience, I guess, a little bit more.
Yeah, 100%. I think the fun of email marketing is that like trial and error. It's like the worst thing that happens is you send an email and maybe like a few people take the
Yeah.
moment of subscribing, but
Yeah.
ultimately like it's your chance to kind of demonstrate your brand and do it in more playful, creative ways, and learn from them, honestly. Anything to add there, Max, before heading into the next theme?
Sure. Yeah. Like whenever we dive into the analytics of Faire, we also just see what we could tweak. And in this case, with the one that ranked a little lower, we were also just looking at the technical specs out of it. So knowing what we know now about that there being more openings on the cell phone, you can see that it doesn't crop in the same way in the cell phone, for instance. So it's always good to really go through it and make sure that you have call to action regardless of how you access the email. And then I think also the subject line also doesn't really like pull in or tell you that something specific is going to happen. And I think that was a good reminder for us, always lean into the entertaining piece, where it's again, we have a large presence on social media, and a lot of that is about building engagement, and that kind of expertise and mindset can be brought into the newsletter strategy as well.
Amazing. And we'll go into this is probably my favorite campaign that you guys have put together, which was a series of three, kind of talking about what your core product being out of stock and kind of what do you do with that news and how do you communicate that to your customers, and then build momentum to help them be excited about when they are in stock. And Tom, Jack, I don't know if you want to speak a little bit more to this in terms of how you're creating moments with your community base.
Yeah, so we completely flipped the switch. So instead of a negative out of stock, and because our brand and our products come from the south of Sweden and they're quite finite, so we get a shipment every month, how can we swap that for the customer to not be negative, but to have a positive interaction? So we're talking our fish at 000 out of office. We opened a store in the Hamptons, so we're getting into that vibe. It's all about brand storytelling and keeping engagement high, and the loyalty strong through this when we are quite low on product. So we made an event, and we want to create a buzz. So that's where it comes from. And I think we moving on from Lauren and Gabe's points, we do try a sweet spot of one email a week, and I think that's quite important to mention for the brands out there. Enough to stay on top, but then also you don't want to overwhelm the customer. We build campaign around moments, like it says. So we did the fair market. We send early announcements, like the middle email campaign. We know you've missed them, and we show here's a preview to build that momentum, to build that buzz, and the creativity flows from there. And yeah, we don't want to hype and apologize too much for it being out of stock, but it's also want to create this moment and keep that loyalty with the customer there, because at the end of the day, the customer's most important thing for our brand.
100%. I love this campaign. It actually leads perfectly into the next, which I think your customer communication. And that's something I know you all pride yourself on. And Max, I'd love for you to speak a little bit more to how you guys think about that and kind of the prioritization with that.
Yeah, sure. So the messaging on Faire has been really essential for how we communicate, and doing so always. If somebody writes us, we always write back. And we're not afraid of jumping on the phone. We're not afraid of sending more samples. And as we were rebuilding our own website, we were taking a presence and also showing the pride we see in all of the partnerships that we have, if that's on Faire or other channels. But the bottom line is everyone who's representing our product is of sorts representing BonBon as well. And we want to celebrate that by including them in our store locator on our website. And that's just a good way. And in the same ideas, that's a way for them to know that we're thinking about them. We have taken the route as well of sending them ad work on photographs of product that they can use for their website as well. And I like to think about it as like just extending the expertise and sort of like resources that we have to smaller business owners. So we're saying we're also a small company, but if you run a small store, maybe taking photos of specific candies is a lot of work. So if you have them on hand right away, that's just something that might bring their own sales up, and that benefits BonBon and Faire as well.
Incredible. This is so helpful, and I know we're short on time, and I wish we could talk for another 20 minutes about your strategy and what you've done. But I wanted to have a quick recap for everyone so that you feel really clear on strategies that can be really impactful. And in Max and Tom Jack's words, knowing your customer and knowing your brand, leaning into analytics and learning from results, creating moments for your customers, and customer communication is everything. And thank you both so much for joining. And we'll go into closing out the rest of the webinar. But thank you again for all of your insights. So valuable. And I hope folks got some fun inspiration from this.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So before we close out in these last couple of minutes here, we know we received a ton of questions from you about some like core things we weren't quite able to get to in the meat of this content. So I wanted to point you all in the right direction and let you know that we'll be sending more resources to you in our follow-up. So the first, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, I'm just starting to build my customer list. How do I actually get more leads? And there's so many strategies you can do here. So it's kind of like, rolling up the sleeves a little bit and getting out there, making those pitches, doing the research, but also making sure that it's available to customers wherever they might be. So using that Faire Direct link in any access point that your customers might be, so on your website, on your socials, etc. That really helps just make sure you're capturing every lead if they're coming to your website. And again, we'll send out a little bit more strategy there so that you feel more empowered around that. The second is, when is the best time to send an email? Candidly, there is no best time. So you really have to think about your customer and what are they doing in terms of their day and when are they actually reading their emails. So kind of putting yourselves in their shoes. We also have some best practices around deliverability and rate limiting. So we'll be sure to send out those resources as well so that you feel informed around best practices and how to mitigate that. And the last thing is, will you be making any improvements to your CRM tools? And I'll actually hand it over to Lauren to talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, I'm so excited to share that this is a focus for us over the next year. We're really investing in the customers database, email marketing, and potentially new tools that help you grow your relationships with retailers. To highlight a few upcoming examples, we're expanding our email automations. You can target retailers right at that right moment without having to, with the ease of automation. We're expanding our email campaign builder. So adding GIFs, making it easier to customize the pricing so it's exactly what the retailer will be paying. And then also we're digging deeper into our insights, giving you more visibility into who your highest value customers are and what will sell best in their store. So lots of exciting updates ahead. And you can check your email and your brand portal to learn more. Back to Sarah.
Thanks, Lauren. I hope that that's an exciting finale to knowing that there's more improvements ahead. And I hope you've been able to get a lot of great knowledge, insights, inspiration from real brands like BonBon and also our experts here to feel inspired to take some actions. One more thing that we were asking, and we would love your feedback. It is incredibly valuable to us in terms of being able to make sure that these sessions are as impactful as possible and really making sure that it's answering the questions you want and covering the topics that are most advantageous for your growth. So please, there will be a survey in front of you right now. If you could take the next minute or so to complete that, it would be extremely valuable. And again, if you have any other questions or any other feedback, please feel free to include that here. Thank you so much for your time today. We hope you had a great 45 minutes with us, and we look forward to seeing you for the next one. Thanks, everyone.